Recently, I had the opportunity to clean a vintage Singer machine, a 66-1 Red Eye. Throughout the process, I was able to find some great information regarding disassembling, cleaning, and reassembling. However, one thing that I did have an issue finding information on was troubleshooting the bobbin winder after it was reinstalled. Because I saw a need, I figured I'd make a quick video on not only how to take it apart and reassembling it, but also making sure it works when you're all done. Hey everybody, Trisha here with Sewing Parts Online. So before we move over to the sewing machine, I just want to make a quick disclaimer. I'm not a technician. However, throughout the process, I did bring the machine down to our technician and he just kind of gave me the stamp of approval. Also, it's currently working. So there's that. Throughout this video, if you hear me say a term incorrectly, please comment below. I know there are a lot of people that work with these vintage machines like on a daily basis and have a lot of stored information. So if you want to share, it would be greatly appreciated. Let's get started. Looking down at the machine, there's a screw directly on the top. To remove the bobbin winder, simply unscrew that screw. Depending on the position of the bracket, you may also have to loosen the bracket screw. Either way, it's super easy to take it off. Make sure to take a bunch of pictures. That's a very helpful reference when you're putting it back together. Now we can start disassembling. This is the bobbin winder stop latch, and then there's a spring underneath, so be very careful when you take it off. The first part that I'm going to remove is the hinge screw. This is how I'm going to continue marking everything in case I have any questions. Got my little container. Next, we're going to work on the thread guide. So if we turn it this way, this is the thread guide. So now I'm going to turn this so I can get a better angle on removing this screw. There is a small spring under this thread guide. I had it pop off on me once, so you can tell I'm a little hesitant here. Here are the parts to the thread guide. Now we'll work on the cam section of the bobbin winder. I believe this is an eccentric or eccentric screw. Honestly, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. If you know what it is, let me know in the comment section. The first time I tried to take it off, I kept going and nothing happened. Then I realized that there's a nut on the bottom. You can use a 9/32 wrench, or you can do what I'm doing and just use a pair of pliers. Hold the nut in place and release the screw. Take out the small cam screw. Then you can press that up. Remove the friction washer. Let's compare these screws. The smaller one, part number 180, is used with the thread guide. The stud screw, part number 50, is used with the whole cam setup. The reason it can be a little bit confusing is if you can see, both of them have this little shoulder here. And on the parts list, they just say screw and stud screw. If you are replacing the bobbin winder tire, you can remove that as well. You just simply pop it off. This is the hinge screw, which makes sense because it's on a hinge here. Let's remove the bobbin winder frame. There is a big spring behind this, so once again, be careful when you remove it. I'm just going to hold that down. I'm trying my best to keep my hands out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. This is the third screw in this unit that has that little shoulder on it. It's the largest of the three. That comes apart, and that's going to be your bobbin winder frame spring. At this point, we're not going to take it apart any further. We're going to leave it as is. This particular part is not on my list, but I'm going to just call this the bracket and the bracket screw. Before I take this off, note where the screw is. So you can see that there's space to be able to move. This is actually going to come into play when we troubleshoot positioning the bobbin winder after it's assembled. If you're liking this video, please take a second to hit that like button. Also, if you're interested in more content from us, hit the subscribe button as well. That way you'll get notified of any future video that we have. At this point, you can clean all of your parts and then we can reassemble. Now we just need to work backwards, so let's go ahead and start reassembling. We have the bracket screw and the bracket. For a brief moment, we're also going to use the hinge screw. That went with the bobbin winder frame spring. See that shoulder? This is going to help us position the bracket in the correct place. Now you can use it as a pivot point. The first time that I assembled this, I put it in the center. When I installed it on the machine, and then it was like this, and I pushed the bobbin winder unit down, it was too tight. The bobbin winder tire would just slip. So for my machine, I know that I just need to release this and bring it all the way up towards the top. You can see that all the way down to the bottom, it pushes closer, so that would make it tighter. Whereas if I'm going all the way to the top, I actually wasn't quite to the top, I was just about there. That's going to make it a little more loose. And I'll show you again once we have it all assembled. As I mentioned, this was just used as a holding spot. You can remove the hinge screw and now it's perfectly placed. This is where we'll insert the bobbin winder frame spring. You've got the long end and then you've got the little nub there, if you can see it. And there's a small hole in the frame. You just insert the spring. There's only one way that you can put this one in. Now, you want to take that little arm and bring it over to the notch. Here's where they get a little bit tricky because these springs can pop off, so just be careful. Let's see what the best way to hold this would be so you can see what I'm doing. Keep it there. So imagine like this. So this is the bobbin winder unit. It needs to be like this. And this little arm has to be in front of the bracket. So I'm going to try and let go of that, see if it holds. And then placing it on the bracket. And you can see that the little arm is in front of the bracket. And then you can grab your big hinge screw, get it started, and tighten the screw. Now to double check that you're on the right track, you should have some spring action there. I don't want to mess up my paint, so there we go. Next, let's work on assembling the cam area. Grab your worm wheel and place the cam on it. Take the tiny cam screw and screw that in. If needed, grab the stud screw and place it in the center. That way you know everything will be properly positioned when you go to attach it to the bobbin winder frame. I have them together and prepared. Now grab the nut and the friction washer. The friction washer has a slight concave to it. The concave goes towards the frame. And then place on your worm wheel. Followed by the stud screw. And it doesn't necessarily go in right away. You have to kind of wiggle it a little bit. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You want the worm wheel teeth to fit within the worm, but you don't want them too tight or it'll chew up the teeth. All right, that looks good. And now we can flip it over and put the nut back on. So this is where we're at now. You can do this at the end or right now. Either is fine. Just pop on the bobbin winder tire. Just like that. Now we're going to work with the thread guide. So you're looking at it from the front. We're going to be installing it right here. And just to give you an idea of what we're trying to accomplish, this is going to be right here. Think of it this way, but I have to hold it this way while I install it, okay? There are 3 holes. You can use a different hole depending on the amount of spring back that you want. I'm just going to place it right here in the middle. Unlike before, I'm not going to bring it over to the notch just yet because this one seems a little bit harder to do, I think anyway. So what we are going to do is take your thread guide, place it on there. Okay, you'll see that it's not going to be positioned correctly right away. But what we're going to do is pull this over as best we can, keeping the spring engaged. Just get the screw started. Don't tighten it all the way. You need some movement. Because you didn't tighten the screw all the way, you can spin the thread guide into the correct position. It's in position. Now we can tighten it. Since my hand was definitely in the way there, I just want to explain. So before, this little thread guide arm that goes against the cam was over here. So you don't want to tighten your screw all the way down until you've got your spring positioned and your screw in there, and then you can bring the arm back down to the cam and then tighten it up. That way, as this moves, this will be able to go back and forth. So now we've got our spring and our bobbin winder stop latch. So for this, we're just going to place it in the middle. You can use a different hole depending on the amount of spring back you need. On the bobbin winder stop latch, there's only 1 hole, so you're good there. Just going to once again get it started. And this also is called a hinge screw, but it's the small one. Okay, so you just want to get it started. At this point, we're going to be bringing the latch back so it stays behind this little notch. As we bring it back, pull the frame down. There we go, just like that. So it's over that latch, this is pulled down, and now we can tighten that hinge screw. We're just about done. Then it'll release and click into place. The next step, we'll just go put it back on the machine using our bobbin winder assembly screw. Note the bracket screw and the position of the bracket. The bobbin winder assembly screw can't get around the bracket, so we need to loosen the bracket screw just a smidge. Move that out of the way. Then the bobbin winder assembly screw can fit in. And see, then it won't be in the way. We can tighten it back up. So I'm just about to the top. So now it's tightened up and we just have to test it. A quick recap, this is the hand wheel. There's a smooth groove on there. When you engage the bobbin winder, this rubber tire makes contact with this hand wheel. When the hand wheel moves, the worm moves. And because the worm wheel has the teeth engaged into the worm, that moves as well. It'll keep rotating, and as that rotates, the thread guide arm follows the cam, which in turn allows the thread guide to move left and right and keep going back and forth to evenly wind the bobbin. There you have it. Everything's put back together and working great. If you're also wanting information on how to install a treadle belt, make sure to check out that video. Until next time, happy sewing, everybody.